Tomorrow marks the second anniversary of a tragic day in UNLV history. On December 6, 2023, a gunman walked into Beam Hall and opened fire, killing 3 professors and wounding a 4th. The gunman was eventually shot and killed by a UNLV police officer who responded to the active shooter situation. Professors Patricia Navarro-Velez, Chajan Jerry Chang, and Naoko Takamura were killed. Darboth Bat Rith was seriously wounded. He has since recovered and returned to teaching. He later talked about his thoughts after the shooting and his recovery.
Without them, I could be gone. And all my dreams, all my sacrifice, how I invested in my educations could be very useless. The nurses, the doctors, they keep asking me, what's your intention? I keep telling them that I want to stand up and be able to walk again.
During a Louisiana police conference in July of last year, Detective Nathaniel Drum and Officer Damian Garcia were honored for their bravery in stopping the gunman outside Beam Hall as he turned toward the student union. Tonight, some of the people who found themselves scrambling for safety during the gunfire are sharing their memories and reflecting on the tragedy. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Wolford. News 3's Georgia Costa spoke with one survivor and shares his story since the tragedy.
Yeah, now 2 years later, one of the students who was inside of this building right behind me when those shots rang out tells me that this tragedy is something that he will always carry with him, but says it is something that he will not let define him as he and many others continue to cope with this tragedy.
It's part of my history, but it's not something that I necessarily relive every time. I just know that I can draw a lot of experiences from it. So personally, when I go in, I'm ready to learn again.
Ethan Phui, a finance major at UNLV, says he was just a freshman wrapping up his first semester when he found himself rushing for safety after hearing several gunshots while on the second floor inside of Frank and Estella Beam Hall that December 6th morning.
The alarms go off, panic erodes. It was like a flood of individuals just running down the hallways, running around me. I thought that I felt safer going and hiding back in my classroom.
Since the tragedy, Phui says, like many others, he is working on his healing journey, admiring the tributes honoring the 3 professors who lost their lives and the 4th professor, Darboth Rith, who has since recovered from the injuries sustained that tragic day.
In terms of like the garden and the murals, they're really nice signs to always remember the individuals that we lost that day, and that's the most important part. They're the ones that deserve to be recognized, and that symbol hopefully stays there as long as it should be, because it's forever a part of UNLV history.
And it is through those tributes, Phui says, has helped bring positive changes throughout campus.
I think before coming into school, I felt very alone. I didn't feel very connected to the community. It sucks that it took such a tragic experience for UNLV to really connect kind of forcibly, but it did. I got a lot of help from people I would have never expected.
Now, as he continues his healing journey, Phui says it is something he knows he won't have to do alone.
I don't really relive it. It's a part of my story, and anytime anyone asks it, I'm more than willing to tell them. I try my best to look at it as a positive growing experience for me. At the end of the day, we're all here for one another, and I just want to continue to see our community grow, hopefully past it, but without ever forgetting it.
Now, a remembrance ceremony will be held here on campus tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Donald Moyer Amphitheater. But for now, reporting from UNLV, Georgia Costa, News 3.
Artifacts from that day are being stored inside the Lead Library's archives and special collections. They include things like pictures, teddy bears, and candles that were collected from the campus after the shooting. The director of the collection says it's a way to preserve the university's history and help those who want to study this tragedy in the future.
Someday, when scholars are writing the history of this moment in our country, this material will be available to them to use to include Las Vegas and UNLV in that story.
Sarah Quigley says more artifacts like text messages, emails, and letters from faculty would be added to the collection. As George mentioned a moment ago, a special ceremony will be held tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the amphitheater near the Student Union to remember the 3 professors who were killed that day. They'll also unveil the first renderings of an on-campus healing garden and a December 6th memorial. We'll cover that event for you and have it on News 3 later in the day, as well as our website, news3lv.com.